I have never seen any product to receive so much hate and criticism before it was even released as these headphones made by H2O Audio, called Zwift X RIPT Ultra. When they were announced, there was a flood of users' concerns about ears heating up, sweat pooling in the ear cups, how sweat-proof they really are, and more. And those are very valid concerns, but I thought it was a little unfair to dismiss them before anyone had a chance to even give them a try. So I reached out to the company and asked them for an opportunity to try and review them, and they agreed. So in this video I will test everything: the build quality, the sound quality, noise cancellation, comfort, and everything else to see if those community concerns are valid, and I will also compare them to my everyday wireless headphones that I love, Sennheiser Momentum 4. Since I've received these for free, take whatever I say with a grain of salt, but I will try to do my best staying as objective as possible. The headphones come in a nice orange Zwift theme box, inside which there is a very nice hard carrying case, the headphones themselves pre-fitted with orange silicone ear cushions, another set of black leather cushions, a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, an audio cable with 3.5mm jack, and a manual. When it comes to design, it is quite clear to whom these headphones are targeted towards. They have bright orange and grey design with the Zwift logo on each ear cup. By the way, if you do not like the Zwift branding, you can get the standard edition of RIPT Ultra headphones, as they are the exact same model. The build quality is solid, they feel robust in your hands. The headband is adjustable, just as you would expect, and the ear cups rotate to better fit the shape of your head. The silicone ear cushions feel very nice, and on the back side there is a sweat-proof membrane. The leather ear cushions are softer and somewhat more comfortable, but they are not suitable for sweaty activities. Swapping ear cushions is super simple. You just unlock them from the headphones with a slight counterclockwise turn and then fix the other ones the same way. If you grab the headphones by the joint and weigh with them, they ever so slightly creak. Honestly, I don't know why would you want to do it, but for the full transparency I wanted to mention it. That is just in this edge case though, they do not squeak with normal use whatsoever. What is incredibly nice about the design is they opted for physical buttons instead of gesture controls. Not only that is undeniable advantage during sweaty riding, but I also prefer that for day-to-day use. One minor gripe with the design I have: there is no plug available for the USB-C charging port. Since there is a lot of sweat involved around these headphones, I would prefer having the option to enclose it, but it is probably not a big deal. With headphones like this, I feel we need to talk about comfort in two different scenarios. Comfort during normal day-to-day usage, and comfort while riding on Zwift or exercising in the gym. During normal day-to-day use, they feel great, especially with the leather cushions. They are very close in terms of comfort to my Sennheiser Momentum 4, which by the way is the most comfortable headphone I've ever used. With the silicone ear cushions, it is not as nice, but I wore them for the whole day in the office and never had any feeling of discomfort whatsoever. The headphones are not heavy and there is not a big pressure on your ears either. Now, about using them during exercise. I feel this was probably the biggest concern of the community, and honestly, mine as well. I feared my ears would get insanely hot while using the over-ear headphones and that the sweat would be pooling in the ear cups. And let me tell you, if there is one person who can really test how these headphones handle the sweat, it is me. I sweat like an absolute madman even during easy riding. And honestly, I'm absolutely gobsmacked using them while Zwifting. None of these concerns actually proven to be true. I don't know if the silicone in the cushions uses some sort of cooling agent or if that's just the property of silicone, but not a single time I had feeling my ears would be hot. Not once. And I've done 3-hour exercise session with them and also a very high intensity race. And if you follow my channel, you know that I'm consistently complaining about my room being hot, and those headphones do not make it worse. As for the sweat, the only time I noticed my ears being wet was when I was doing very high intensity riding, but just so you can imagine, I was sweating so much my bib shorts were soaked through and through. And even then, there was no pooling of the sweat in the ear cups. When riding easy or even in a moderate power, I didn't even notice the headphones on my ears. Don't get me wrong, when you take them off after the ride, the headband and the ear cushions are sweaty. Absolutely. but it can be wiped off with a paper towel very easily, and the most important thing is it doesn't bother you mid-ride. Which, for example, my AirPods Pro did bother me when paired with the ear sweat. So although the sensitivity to these kind of things is highly individual, I would say you don't need to be worried about that. One more thing relating to the fit: when you adjust them well, they stay on your head even during hard efforts. On Zwift it is absolutely not a problem, even during super heavy sprinting they stay on your head, but I've even tried to sprint with them outside when I tried to catch the tram, and even then there was no risk of them falling off. So I would be actually comfortable using them even when running outside, assuming you run in a safe location. If you don't, probably use bone conduction headphones instead. When it comes to connectivity, they mainly use Bluetooth that you can pair to multiple devices, but only one could be playing at a time. If you need to do any kind of precise audio work or video editing, you can use the provided audio cable for zero latency usage as well. As I previously said, there are no gesture controls with those headphones, all is done using physical buttons. You've got 4 volume up and down buttons that you also use to skip the tracks, the middle power button that's also used to pause the playback as well as to accept incoming calls, and the noise cancellation button with which you can switch between noise cancelling mode and transparency mode. Last thing about the connectivity, I've been using these headphones only for about a week so far, but I didn't have any connectivity issues or signal dropouts. And now, the sound quality. The thing that is the most important with most headphones, but probably not exactly those. If you use them for Zwifting, you are not listening in an ideal environment anyway, and so the sound quality becomes somewhat less important. Obviously, the more you are going to use these headphones outside Zwifting, the more is the sound quality going to matter. Before we get into it, let me set the expectations. I'm an audiophile. Not a hardcore audiophile, I do not buy $3,000 headphones, I'm not studying frequency response charts, but I do appreciate and am able to recognize good quality sound. As I said, for my day-to-day use I'm using Sennheiser Momentum 4 headphones, and I consider them having very good sound, so take that for what you will. With all that being said, I would say the sound quality of the Zwift headphones is very decent. Is it as good as the Momentum 4s? No. But I was not expecting that. These are still primarily fitness headphones, but that doesn't mean the sound is bad. If I had to describe it, the sound is very warm and bass heavy with noticeable treble. The mids are slightly in the background, and compared to my Sennheisers, they lack that beautiful sound clarity, crispness, and some of that signature instrument separation. But let me repeat, that is coming from someone who really cares about the sound quality, and I am talking about listening in an ideal environment, which is a silent room. When you are Zwifting with the fans blasting around you, it does not matter, and neither it does to someone who doesn't obsess about the sound quality. If you are a standard audio user who doesn't have comparison to higher end headphones, you are going to be absolutely happy with the sound quality. And there is one area in which the Zwift headphones are actually better than Momentum 4s. They can get loud, way louder than the Sennheisers actually. So no matter your environment, you will be able to tailor your listening experience to your taste. As much as I said that the sound quality isn't all that important when Zwifting, when it comes to noise cancellation, it is the exact opposite. When you are Zwifting, there's hopefully fans blasting around you, and if you don't have solid noise cancellation, it can make the sound unusable. That is also the reason why I hate using bone conduction headphones when Zwifting. I mainly listen to YouTube videos and podcasts, and with bone conduction headphones I often cannot hear well what is being said. Thankfully there are no issues in this area with the Zwift headphones. I've used them with 2 fans on max power on a busy street, and even in Prague subway, and the noise cancellation just works well. Once again, is it the best noise cancellation I've ever listened to? No, but it is absolutely sufficient for the purpose it is made. Since this is the only area that I can actually let you experience yourself, I will let the sound speak for itself. Firstly, I will test the microphone in an empty room, then on the bike with fans blowing to evaluate potential Discord use, and finally I will repeat the same on the bike test, but this time with a noise cancellation plugin that I use when streaming. In between each test I will include an ear cleanser from my studio microphone here. So this is the first microphone check of these headphones. I'm in an empty, silent room. This is how it would sound if you were talking to someone on a phone. So this is the first ear cleanser on my studio microphone. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Second microphone check. I have now my hand last sound. This is the second ear cleanser on my studio microphone. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The final microphone check sounds when I have both my cleanser last and extra dialogue in. Okay guys, I'm back on my studio microphone here. As you were able to hear, if you are going to use these headphones for calls in a normal silent environment, you can use them, but they are not usable for communication during Zwift racing. You need a dedicated microphone for that. When it comes to charging, you simply plug the headphones into a power outlet or laptop with provided USB-C cable, but it works equally as well with any off-brand cable. I've tried too. The company claims the headphones have 50 hours of battery life. I really don't know how to test that claim, but for what it's worth, I've charged these headphones to the full only once when I got them. Did several long rides, raced once, I've used them for the full day in the office, and it still says battery high when you turn them on. So battery life is not an issue. When it comes to portability, these headphones are pretty much the same as many other over-the-ear headphones. The ear cups fold and then the headphones fit even in a pretty small bag or a big jacket pocket, but I personally always use the provided case to transport these type of headphones. You can store the cables there as well, and it feels safer for the headphones too. When it comes to fitness headphones, probably the most popular type are the bone conduction headphones. These were my preferred choice back when I was a runner, as their open ear design ensured I was still aware of my surroundings. Then you have the wireless earphones. Up until now I've used AirPods for Zwifting and they were fine, but when I was using those, the sweat in the ears was arguably bothering me more than when using the Zwift headphones. And there are these over-the-ear headphones. I have to admit, when they were announced, I shared some of the same concerns about the comfort with all the sweat present, but I have to say after using them, it has been a very pleasant surprise. I would not recommend wired headphones in 2025 for exercise. I've been using them in the past, but the cable getting caught on your clothing and ripping the headphones from your ear is probably one of the most rage-inducing moments that can happen during a workout. The last thing we need to talk about is the price. These Zwift headphones cost $249.99 and that's not a small amount. So should you actually pay this price? Well, that depends on your use case. If you are looking for headphones that you can use while Zwifting or in a gym and then perhaps use them as your day-to-day headphones on the side, I can recommend them with absolutely clear conscience. If you are looking for headphones that you can also use for running, I would still recommend those as long as you are running in a safe environment. If you are crossing busy streets or something like that, I would rather use bone conduction headphones. By the way, RoadtoA makes those as well. Finally, if you are looking for ultimate sound quality and exercising and sweat protection is none of your concerns, there are definitely better choices for the price. If you decide to get these headphones or any other headphones from RoadtoA audio website, make sure to use the discount code RoadtoA and you will receive 20% off the retail price. And if you want to see how does it look when you use them during intense exercise, you can find the recording of my recent tiny races right here.